On an inadvertent afternoon, the sky seemed to lose its luster because of Lu Yan's return. He, once the resolute white moonlight, now came back to his wife's side with a heart full of remorse and a bunch of roses. At a welcome party held for him, he made a shocking move, kneeling on one knee and expressing his wish to rekindle the old flame to his wife. His words were full of emotions and pleadings. I failed to cherish you in the past. Now, I hope to start anew with you. However, the wife's reaction was beyond everyone's expectations. She blushed and seemed to be considering his request. At this moment, the air around seemed to freeze, and all eyes involuntarily turned to me, the nominal husband. In the silence, I broke the silence, called the waiter, opened a bottle of champagne, and proposed a toast to this great love. The waiter quickly poured the champagne into the tower of glasses. I picked up the top glass and invited everyone present to drink together. With a hint of sarcasm, I said, "What a touching story. Why aren't you laughing? Are you born unable to laugh?" The atmosphere became extremely awkward. No one was willing to break the silence. They might think I'm crazy, or perhaps guessing in their hearts what big move I would make next. But I didn't care about their thoughts. I continued to pick up 2 glasses of wine by myself, handed them to Lu Yan and Su Qianlong, and said in a half-truth and half-fake tone, "Your story is really touching. Forced to part 10 years ago and able to continue the front edge 10 years later. It's truly moving. I, this redundant person, should know my place and quit." My words were full of sarcasm and self-mockery, making Lu Yan's face turn extremely ugly. His friend hurriedly came forward to explain, saying this was just a game after drinking, but I just nodded seriously, indicating that I fully understood. I said, "Truth or dare? What you said is all the truth. I don't want to be the sinner who ruins others' love. For your love, I'll contact the lawyer right now and prepare the divorce agreement. I can sign it immediately." I called in front of everyone and asked the lawyer to come as soon as possible. After hanging up, I smiled and said to Su Qianlong, "The opportunity is right in front of you. Don't miss it again like 10 years ago." Lu Yan immediately became unhappy. He stood in front of Su Qianlong to protect her and said to me coldly, "Xie Ziyuan, do you have to say such disappointing words at this time?" The people around all nodded in agreement, seemingly thinking that I was making a mountain out of a molehill. I looked at them, and a wave of disgust welled up in my heart. They usually took advantage of my love for Lu Yan and got a lot of benefits from me, but Lu Yan thought that their asking me for help was respecting me. If I refused, it would be my ignorance. They indulged everyone to ask me for things, but now Su Qianlong is back, and I need to bow my head to another person. 10 years of dedication seemed to turn into nothing overnight. I used to be Lu Yan's guardian, enduring everything silently just to hold hands with him. However, when his white moonlight Su Qianlong returned, all my sacrifices seemed insignificant. I once thought that as long as I loved him enough, I would eventually be able to walk into the depths of his heart. But reality gave me a heavy blow, making me understand that some emotions cannot be forced. In the surveillance video, the conversation between Lu Yan and her best friend was like a sharp knife piercing my heart. His words revealed his indifference and disdain for me. It turned out that in his heart, I was just someone he could use at will. He even planned to divorce me just to be with Su Qianlong again. I once tried to maintain this marriage with our daughter, but Lu Yan turned a blind eye to it. His heart already belonged completely to another person. That night, I sat alone in the living room, immersed in the anesthesia of alcohol, trying to forget this painful memory. I sent countless messages to Lu Yan, hoping to call back his heart, but he didn't respond. Looking at my daughter's photo, my heart was filled with endless sadness. She was the witness of our love, but now, this love has broken. The next day, when the sun rose again, my world fell into darkness. Lu Yan's profile picture on WeChat Moments was replaced with a photo of him and Su Qianlang, and there was no longer our wedding ring on his hand. I realized that I had lost him and everything we once shared. I used to be Lu Yan's reliance, but now, I'm just an abandoned passerby. I decided to let go and stop chasing this fruitless love. I contacted the lawyer and prepared to sign the divorce agreement to end this marriage. I will start my life anew with a brand new identity. At the moment of signing the divorce agreement, I felt an unprecedented relief. I finally got rid of this relationship that made me exhausted. I will rediscover myself and find the me who I used to be. I will focus on my career, focus on my dreams, and no longer live for someone who doesn't love me. As days passed, I devoted myself to the operation of the family business and gradually found myself. My parents were relieved about my decision and handed over the family affairs to me and began their journey around the world. My life returned to the right track. I was busy with work and business negotiations every day. Although it was hard, I felt unprecedentedly fulfilled and happy in my heart. However, just when I thought I had completely gotten rid of the past, Lu Yan suddenly appeared in my office with my daughter. She didn't seem to realize that earth-shattering changes had taken place between us and still tried to approach me with a gentle attitude and a familiar style. She brought lunch, trying to create a warm family atmosphere, but I couldn't forget her betrayal. When I opened the lunchbox she brought, there were peanuts that I was allergic to. This made me realize that in 10 years, her understanding of me was so superficial. Her apology and explanation seemed so powerless, and I felt deeply disappointed. Her tears and pleadings could no longer move me. I refused her request for me to continue to be affiliated with the academic circle. Her job and her reputation were all paved by me for her, but now, I'm no longer willing to make any sacrifices for her. At an academic forum, Lu Yan appeared again, trying to be my female companion. Her beauty and magnificence couldn't hide her anxiety and unease. I publicly refused her and made it clear that our marriage was over. Her tears and Su Qianlang's consolation became the focus of everyone's attention, but I was no longer the one who would feel heartache for her. As time passed, I increasingly realized that the rift between Lu Yan and me could no longer be mended. She had tried to re-enter my life in various ways, but my heart was no longer something she could easily touch. She frequently contacted me, sharing bits and pieces of her life, but I only felt deep fatigue and helplessness. In a chance encounter, Lu Yan came to me with my daughter, hoping that I could spend a day with her. I agreed, but deep in my heart, I knew this was only for my daughter, not for our relationship. At the amusement park, my daughter's laughter and carefree running made me temporarily forget the pain, but Su Qianlang's appearance pulled me back to reality again. Su Qianlang's provocation and her claim on my daughter made me feel unprecedented shock. I couldn't believe that my beloved daughter was not my biological child. Lu Yan's silence and Su Qianlang's tone became an indelible pain in my heart. I looked at my daughter. Her innocent eyes and dependence on me made my heart ache. At that moment, I made a decision. I couldn't go on like this anymore. I needed to completely cut off the relationship with Lu Yan for my own sake and my daughter's future. I told Lu Yan that my daughter should change her name. She was no longer my pearl but Su Qianlang's child. I asked my secretary to take Lu Yan away and ended our last entanglement. Lu Yan's crying and pleadings could no longer move me. I calmly rejected all her requests. I knew that I needed to move forward and find the happiness that truly belonged to me. I began to accept new invitations and prepare to start a new life. I believe that the future will be good, and I will find my own love.